Hello everybody, I'm Clay Souza. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And every Monday and Wednesday we're here at Clay Souza Official talking about flash photography live, answering questions and giving tips and tricks on wedding photography. Every Monday and Wednesday at 8:08 p.m. Eastern Time. You're welcome to join. And if you have joined this call already, do me a favor, click on that little paper plane there and share this live link with some friends who you think may benefit from our talk today. I would really appreciate if you could do that for us. Okay? Thank you so much, guys. I had like 3 questions here today. I may have more, but I select 3 questions every week to talk about, and they're very different questions, very interesting questions. Not much about flash photography, but about photography and business in general. So the first question is, how should I dress for an event? This is quite an interesting question. I never got that question before, but this is what I think. This is how I take this and how I do, right? When I go to shoot weddings, when I go to shoot events, I'm always dressed in black because I don't want my light to be bouncing off me if I'm wearing white or anything like that. And I also ask my lighting assistants to wear black, all black, shirt, shoes. Shoes is very important. Dressing pants and shirt. I use most of the time I'm wearing long sleeved shirt, but with summertime, with the wedding get like shooting weddings in the 95, 100 degrees, I have black shirt but short sleeved. And why is that? Why there's this concern? At least in my part, there's always this concern to look good during an event. Well, you don't know who's going to be watching you. We shoot weddings, right? And people who are getting married are friends with people who are getting married, who are either just got married or about to get married or are engaged to get married. So you never know who's going to be watching you, who's going to be, looking the way you work to intention to hire you after the wedding. And I think most important, more important than what to wear, is how you behave throughout the day, how you treat people around you, right? One of the biggest topics of feedback that we get is how much people liked us, because we treat everybody well, right? We go there with a positive attitude, and we treat everybody well, no matter how much drama is going on, no matter how complicated the situation is. We try not to make that public. If you run into a pickle, or if something's happening that's not the ideal situation, we never let it transpire to public, right? We always have a good face, we're always smiling, always laughing, and being nice to people. People come to us during the wedding and say, "Can you take a picture of me and my wife?" Absolutely, you take a picture, right? And I always make sure that all the family and bride and groom on that case, because I don't shoot a wedding by myself. I always have a second photographer, which happens to be Danny, my wife. I always tell them, hey, if you need anything else during the reception, either you stop me or stop Danny, and she'll glad to take the picture for you. So it's about relationships. Photography is a business of relationships. Okay, you have to have a good photography buddy, but it's about relationships, and you never know. We got hired over and over again by people who got referred from couples to us, or people who were on weddings and saw us working, and we get a lot of compliments the way we work, the way we talk, and these people write on the feedback. Everybody, one of the common things, like, how many people came to us and said how nice your photographers are. So that's important. I think it's more important than what you wear, but that's what it is. Just be nice to people. If you don't like people, I'm going to be like brutally honest here. If you don't like people, photography is not a business for you. Because or go shoot a landscape or birds or whatever, things that you don't have to deal with people, because with photography you will have to deal with people. There's no way. Okay, So that's one of them. The second question that I got is, with all the social media that we have today, Facebook, Instagram being strong online presences, is it worth still having a website? And the question is yes, 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 yes. You need a place where you can organize your portfolio. And by organize, I mean organize the way you want. Organize the way you want people to see it. Because Facebook is all right, Instagram is all right, but the organization of those tools, I mean, you have no control over how they display your information, right? I mean, they're going to put your information there, and that's what it is. Now, website, you have your contact forms if you want. Although I don't advise that, but you're going to have pricing, although I do not advise people to put price on a website. That's my opinion. You're going to have who are you, about you, all that good stuff that people are looking. Remember what I just said. Photography is a business of relationships. So people want to know who you are. Okay, so yeah, social media is great, and you should be feeding social media also. Instagram today, if your public are made of younger folks, you want to pay more attention to Instagram than Facebook. But you still need to put on Facebook, because think about this. If you shoot high school seniors, who is paying for the photo shoot? Who is paying for the prints? Who's paying for everything? The parents, not the kids, right? So Instagram so kids can find you, but Facebook also for the parents. Okay, so you need to have presence on both platforms. This is how I do it, and that's what works for us. Yeah, but website is a must, because you can send the website to the parents so they can see your work. They can dig a little bit more about who you are before hiring you. So a website. So the question was, is it worth all the social media that we have today? Is it still worth having a website? And the answer is yes, it is worth it. The third question that we have is, I like my images more on the warm side. Should I warm them up on camera, or should I warm them up on post-production? This is a great question. And the question is both, actually. You can do both, and I'm going to tell you the drawbacks of each. If you shoot in JPEG only, I would advise you to warm it up on camera, because JPEG, when you shoot JPEG, the camera compresses the image. You lose a lot of data on the image. So your editing capabilities are going to be limited. But if you shoot raw, you can do either on camera, or you can do in post-production. It all depends what your favorite method. Okay, so if you shoot in JPEG, I think it's better for you to do on camera, because you're going to have a limited latitude when you put that in Photoshop or Lightroom, or whichever program you use to edit your image. But if you're shooting raw, you can do both. I always say this. Although I'm well versed in Photoshop and Lightroom, I'm a photographer. I'm not a Photoshopper. So I try to stay away from the computer as much as I can, because every time you sit on the computer editing a lot of images, you're not working on your business, you're not doing other stuff, so you're just locked in there. So that's why I prefer to use the camera to warm up the images. Let me share one image with you guys here. Let's look at this image here, for instance. Okay, this is a recent wedding a few weeks back. We got the sunset, right? And what I did, I bumped the Kelvin on the image, on the camera. I bumped the Kelvin to close to 10,000. I think it was about around 8,000 on that one. Okay, that makes the whole scene orange. That's when you need the equipment that we talk about so much sometimes here. Okay, so we have the image, so the sunsets come, but the sunset's not really strong at that point, right? There was still a lot of blue. The sun was kind of weak. There was still a lot of blue on the image, so I need a one to warm it up. Okay, so what I did was I brought the Kelvin on camera to close to 8,000, and that's going to warm up the entire scene, the whole scene, including the subject. Okay, and but how do you offset the orange tone on the subject? You use a blue gel on your flash. The blue gel will offset the orange of the camera. Okay, so that's how I warm up my image. Because I'm shooting raw all the time, I'm usually doing this trick that we also have instruction on how to do this on the feed. We did a series on that. Okay, so yeah, so that's how we do this. So but that's a really good question. The question was, I like my image more on the warm side. Should I warm them up on post-production or on camera? Brian is asking, what's the difference of what? I don't know what you're referring to, Brian. Let me know and I'll answer your question. Okay, all right, so those are the three questions that we got to talk about this week. Well, it was good questions as always. And today I want to talk to you about an CTB. Hold on. Oh, okay. So Brian is asking, what's the difference between a normal blue gel and a CTB? For those one who don't know, CTB is the short for color temperature blue. Okay, a normal blue gel is going to be too strong. They don't have the capabilities, or it's not used to deal with white balance. The CTB gel is made to offset oranges. The blue gel, a normal blue gel, is just a creative gel that you use to, paint the scene or a white wall or something like that, used in front of your flash to paint the scene blue. The CTB is the amount of blue that's in it, okay, is enough just to clear the orange of the subject's skin when you are using higher Kelvins. That's all. They're all blue. But one is more to use more creative, and the other one is specific to offset the orange of the skins when you're using high ISO. Okay, that is the difference. All right, so let's talk about the topic today. Today, what I want to talk about, we learn all of these new techniques, right? We've been talking about flash photography for a few months now, and we learn all of these new things. And I see you guys experimenting with the techniques that I show you, and I that's fantastic. Please keep experimenting. If you want your image to be critiqued, send them to me. I'm not going to do it here live, but I will do personal. Send me through DM. I can look at the images and give you some feedback on the image. I love that you guys are really trying, and it is great. But we added a new component to our photography, right? We added flash, something that some of you didn't have before. And now you start to experiment with flash, or maybe push the envelope a little bit more with flash photography. So with this new element, so what are the things that I need to look for when I'm looking at my images? And why I'm bringing this up, and believe me, it has happened to me, and sometimes it still happens, right? You look at the image, you get excited, and you don't really pay attention to it, okay? And then when you get home, you download the image in the computer, and there is something that you look, oh crap, look at this, I didn't pay attention to this, okay? All right, so right now that you're just adding flash to your photography, what are the things that you should be on the lookout for? what are the things that may be, I don't want to say wrong, but may not be perfect in your photography that you're not seeing when you look at the images. Because we need to have, in order to do this, you need to have a different mindset. In order to look at, to be able to tell if your image is good or not, now that you add flash to the photography, we need to look at the image differently. And what are the things that you need to look for? Because, and I'll share this story with you. I was teaching a workshop one time, and I was teaching how to do the veil. I mean, if you know me, you know that I like that veil shot, the big long veils flying and waving, all that type of stuff. I was teaching them how I do that. So what happened? We got this beautiful shot, right? And I'm so focused on the veil that I didn't realize the model's sister was right by me, and I was shooting the wide angle, and I got her on the image, on the photo. She was right there by the veil. The veil is waving here, and she was right there on the right camera, right. But I got to look at the picture. I was so focused on the veil that I didn't see her. I totally missed her, right? And I said, oh, this is awesome. Look at this. And I kept shooting, I kept shooting, I kept shooting. And other people came to shoot, so we waving the veil and all that type of stuff, right? And lucky me that before leaving that scene and start showing something else, I decided to look at the pictures again. And then I saw her. I said, oh, what are you doing here, right? So I joked with her, oh, what are you doing here in my picture? You photobombed me in the picture. And I got a chance to do it again. And it was such a beautiful image. I should have brought it in here. So it's easy to get excited about a new thing and really not paying attention to the elements of the image that you should be looking for. All right? So in this case, I got lucky because I looked at the image and I saw that she was there later, and I was able to reshoot the images, and it worked fine. But as you can see, it happens to me also. It happens to a lot of people. We get excited and we get like tunnel vision and we don't look at the whole image. So that's what I want to talk about today, because we're implementing flash now in our photography. So what are the things that you have to look for now that you didn't have to look before? Because now we have a new element on our photography, right? We have flash. What are the things that you need to be looking for now when we photograph? When you photograph with flash. Okay? So it's kind of, we're going to talk about like the photography through your photography through your photographer eyes. That's what you're going for. Got it? All right. So first thing you need to look for when you are photographing with flash is highlights, hot spots. As the day progresses, if you're shooting a long event, or be it a wedding, be it a birthday party, a quinceañera, whatever it is, people are going to get sweaty. And the more sweaty they are, the more reflective their skin is going to be. Then we take that beautiful picture that there's huge hot spot over here, or maybe in the face or somewhere else. Got to watch for those. All right. One way to avoid the hot spot is really not pointing the flash on the subject towards right straight to the subject. Always feather it a little bit. You can feather up, you can feather left, you can feather right. Right? Just get, if you're using a big softbox, just let the edge of the softbox hit the face. The light's going to be a little bit weaker, and there's less chances of you getting hot spot. So another option for hot spot, just ask somebody to pat down, right? You can see on professional photo shoots, for magazines and that type of stuff, I mean, how do they do that? They have a makeup person on staff. It's all the time. I mean, you see that on TV, movies, photo shoots, right? It's always patting down some kind of powder or something to remove that hot spot. Also, a good makeup artist will know not to wear reflective makeup. Apparently, there is such a thing. Is a reflective makeup. When you get somebody with a reflective makeup, doesn't matter what you do, is always going to have some hot spots, and you have to deal with those in post-production. And as I said before, I consider myself a photographer. I'm well versed in Photoshop, but I'm not a Photoshopper. I'm a photographer. I want to avoid the as much as I can to be sitting down on the computer editing, doing Photoshop stuff work, especially if something like that. Okay, so watch for hot spots. When you look at your picture on the back of the camera, you're gonna go, okay, is there any hot spots in here? Okay, and sometimes you're gonna look at them, and sometimes they're gonna be there, and it's gonna be okay. It's easy to remove in post-production. That's your choice, or you can go back and change the lighting distance or the lighting direction to avoid the hot spot, or ask somebody to pat down, remove a little bit of the grease and stuff. So that's number one, hot spot. Number two that you got to watch for, blinkies. Yeah, Jeff is giving a good idea. He's put the blinkies. If you don't know, the blinkies is a configuration on many cameras. I don't know if non-professional cameras have that, but on professional cameras, you can go and you can tell the camera to blink where the highlight is blown out, where the picture is blown out. Let's say you take a picture of the sky and the sky is blown out, the whole sky is going to blink when you look at the review, so you know that part is blown out. Or if you have a hot spot, you also turn the blinkers on. I don't do that because I think it annoys the crap out of me. It really annoys me a lot. So what I do is that I have that saved on my custom menu on Canon. You probably can do this in other cameras also, but I use Canon, so I'm going to talk about Canon. On Canon, you can set up like a personal menu where you can have quick access to. You can register on the menu a bunch of camera settings, so it's easy access. You don't have to go, because those menus on those cameras, they get so deep. Sometimes it takes a long time to get into where you want to be. So I actually have register on my personal menu that I think it's called highlights alert. I have it, so it's easier. Just go there and boom. If I have a question, if I'm looking, is this blown out? I don't know. I look at the histogram. If I can tell through the histogram, I just go there and turn that on quick. Oh no, it's not. Okay, and turn it off and move on to my day. Okay, but that's also a good suggestion there, Jeff. So the next thing you should be look for, of course, is shadows. You're photographing with artificial light. You should be looking at your shadows. Does the shadows reflect your vision to the images? Do you go back to this again, right? If you know what you want, if you walk into the photo shoot and know, okay, I want hard lights today, I want soft light for this, I want this type of lighting, that type of lighting. If you have that in your head already, you know you have to go back to the camera and look for, is this, am I throwing hard light here? Is that what I want to do? Is that the type of lighting that I want to do? Okay, so that's why it's important for you to look at the shadows when you're looking at the image. So we have actually two things now to look for. Okay, one is highlights, right? You take the picture and you look at the back of the camera, you look for the highlights. Is it blown out? Do I have a hot spot on the person? Okay, and the second one are the shadows. Also, on the topic of shadows, be very careful with hands when the hands are close to the face. If I have a a light coming from this side here, right? And if I'm posing like something like this, the light's going to hit my hand and it's going to cast a shadow on my face. Unless that's what you want, you should be watching for that, right? Even here on the shoulder sometimes, right? If you have something like this, the light will hit here and will cast a shadow on the shoulder. So watch for that, because if it's not, sometimes it's a playful game, right? One thing that you can use it for, let's say you have one of those decorative umbrellas, right? One of the umbrellas that you use for decoration, where they have those patterns. You can use the flash, you can use flash to light the umbrella from behind and cast the shadow pattern on somebody's back. That's a creative use of lighting. That's fine. But what's not fine is when you don't pay attention to the shadows and the hand gets, reproduced here on somebody's either face or shoulder or chest. So watch for those also, because now you have another point of light in your photography. Okay, so highlights, hot spots, and shadows, right? Shadows in the face, shadows on is this the shadow that I want to create? Is this the type of thing that I want to create? Is this this type of shadow? Is it hard shadow? Is that what I want? Is it soft shadow? Is that what I want? Are the shadows falling in the right place? Do I have a catch light? Catch light is very important. Do I have catch light on the eyes? Right? Those are the type of stuff that when you look in the back of your camera, you should be concerned about now that you're using flash on your photography. This will only take your photography to a next level. This will only make your images more well refined. Okay? So that is number 2. And a pet peeve of mine that a lot of upcoming photographers are making, and a lot of people who are new to flash, is light spill. You need to control the light spill every time you post an image where you have the circle, that bright circle around the subject. That means that you're not controlling the image, you're not controlling the light. Right? One of the greatest things about flash photography is that you can control the light, that you can make light, you can bend the light to do what you want. And unless you want a bright circle around your subject, the bright circle shouldn't be there. Light spill, it's something that people don't pay attention to, because we, like I said before, we get so focused on the subject, so enchanted by our images that we forget those details. When if you put those 3 together, then you have a picture that has a hot spot on it, that has shadows where the shadows are not supposed to be, and that has a big light spills. And light spills not only on the ground, light spills could be on the wall. Are the light spilling on the wall? All right, am I going to see that bright spot of the image there? Okay, so I'm looking back here because I'm going to give you an example of this lighting back here. Okay, but it's not. So I have 2 lights down here, on one on my right, on my left, that makes this thing purple, and I can change the colors. I can make it green if I want to, like that, right? So down there, where they are very close to the screen, so they don't have hot spots. But if I keep increasing the power on them to get the light all the way over there, I get hot spots on them. So hot spots will happen, and same thing with light spills, right? Watch your light. Is it spilling on the wall? Is it spilling on the ground? So if you look at your picture and there's this huge circle around your subject, that means that your light is hitting the ground. Especially if you keep it up and tilt it down a little bit to mimic the sun, where the light's going to hit the subject, it's going to go all the way down there. And I'm not telling you not to do this, because that's how I photograph, right? But a grid would help. Okay, put a grid on it, and sometimes feather the light up a little bit so the light doesn't hit the ground. And another thing is change your composition. All right, shoot down up or shoot waist up. There's another way to deal with that. Although sometimes you limit to your composition what you want to show on the image, but those are the things that we need to be aware of. It's very easy to take a picture and when you're using flash and have that light spill on the ground. It makes a huge circle around the subject, right? And remember what I keep telling you. Your viewer's eyes will go to the brightest part of the image, and if that light spill is brighter than the subject, that's where the eye is going to go first. Okay, so watch for that. So let's recap. What are the things that you need to look for when you're reviewing your image? Because now you are an expert on flash photography. You need to have those things lined up. So first thing you're going to look for is, do I have hot spots on the face? I mean, this is a huge hot spot destination right here, right? Bald head. You got to be watched for those things, like forehead, the cheeks, like this. Okay, so watch for those, and remember, as people, as the day progresses, people get sweaty. You get more a tendency for more hot spot. All right, 3 things. Let's recap it again. So hot spots, shadows. Okay, is my shadow the way I want it to be? Is it, I want a hard shadow, I want a soft shadow? What are the things that is this? Am I getting hands in a way that the shadow is showing on somebody's face or somebody's body? So that's another way, another thing. And the third one is light spill on the ground, light spill on other parts of the scene, right? Your scene needs to be clean. Your scene needs to be clean. Let me put that image back there again. See how clean that scene is. All right, so there's no light spills nowhere. Okay, and the subject was well lit. We have a nice background there, but you see there's no light spill. Imagine if I had like a huge circle of light around them. That would kill the image, right? So guys, these are the new things you should be looking for, because now you have a new skill. Now you are a flash photographer. Okay, so use flash in your photography, which means that you can bend the light the way you want. You can make the light do whatever you want. You have full control over the light, and that's a beautiful thing, right? But now that you have that skills, you start learning what to look for when you're looking back at the camera. Just don't look back at the camera. Look back at the camera with critical eyes. Be your own critic. Okay? I think that is what I have to talk today. I again thank you so very much for being here and for listening to me and for the ongoing support. I hope you share these tips with friends and invite them to the channel. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know on either here or on DM. I will answer all the questions that come on DM. And also, this live is going to be posted on Instagram here in a few minutes. As soon as we finish here, I post straight to Instagram, and also it will be on our YouTube channel at Clay Souza Official and our Facebook page at Clay Souza Official. All right, and I'm really excited. Next week we have Shutterfest. We're gonna do a live from here, from this office here on Monday. On Tuesday we shoot a wedding. On Wednesday we flying to Shutterfest, where it's gonna be a huge party. So watch, because I'm becoming live from Shutterfest a few times a day. And I'll be dropping those videos here because Shutterfest is a unique experience. I want you guys, I wish I could take all of you with me, but I want you guys there with me to enjoy the experience. All right, so thank you so much, and don't forget, we're going to be here next week, next Monday, 8:08 p.m. Eastern Time at Clay Souza Official, talking about flash photography. All right, thank you so much, guys. Have a great night. Bye.